And at number 10, lawyer objects to own question. Easily the most embarrassing moment from one of Heard's lawyers was when he objected to his own question. Attorney Adam Nadelhaft made a huge error while he was asking questions about a fight that left Johnny with a severed finger. While the lawyer was questioning Ben King, Depp's house manager, he asked, quote, "You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?" King answered the question by stating a doctor told him that Depp sustained an injury to one of his fingers. Then, in an attempt to stop King from continuing his testimony, the lawyer objected, saying, objection, hearsay? For a moment everyone was confused until the judge stated, quote, "Wait, you asked the question, next question." Awkward. And at number 9, can't do math. One of the funniest moments captured was not actually during the trial, but it was to do with the pre-trial details to be sorted out. The judge was on the stand telling each side how much time they will have in court, stating that once they go over time she'll have to stop them regardless of the line of questioning. At one point she breaks down the exact hours and minutes each side still has in court, and for some reason Amber Heard's lawyers kind of object and make it seem like the math does not add up. The judge then breaks down the math and asks the lawyer if she got a different number. After a very awkward silence, someone comes in and lets the judge know that her math adds up. The caption on the video reads, quote, "Judge Penny Ascart has the patience of an actual saint. Amber Heard legal team failing to do basic math." And at number 8, Milani Cosmetics contradicts Amber's lawyer. During her trial, Amber Heard's lawyer stated that Amber would walk around with makeup constantly in case she ever needed to cover a bruise that Johnny had given her. In court, the lawyer held up Milani Cosmetics all-in-one correcting kit while telling the jury how Heard concealed alleged bruises on her face. Although it's important, the lawyer never claimed that Heard uses that specific product. During the trial, her lawyer held up the makeup and said, quote, "This is what Amber carried in her purse for the entire relationship with Johnny Depp. She's an actor. Do you honestly think she would have left her apartment ever without makeup? Do you think she would ever have wanted other people to see her bruises and cuts? This is what she used. She became very adept to it." Milani clapped back in a TikTok video, showing that the product held up in court was not released until 2017, 1 year after Heard filed for divorce. So there's no way that Heard could have been covering up her bruises with that makeup. A source close to Heard told People, quote, "Heard's lawyer was using an example of the kind of makeup that she used." And at number 7, crazy video of Depp shown. In one of the videos presented to the court by Amber, you can see Johnny getting very angry while in a fight. In part of the video, Depp yells, quote, "Wanna see crazy? I'll give you effing crazy." While fighting, Depp is seen pouring wine into a glass while yelling about getting crazy. After noticing that Amber is recording, he starts tussling with her. Then the video cuts out. When asked if Depp was getting violent in this clip, the lawyer said, quote, "And you would agree that you were violent in that clip, correct?" Depp then replied, "Clearly I was having a bad time," adding, quote, "I did a couple of cabinets, but I did not touch Miss Heard." Depp was then asked if he was intoxicated in the clip. He did not confirm, then later said it was possible. The lawyer then pressed that he most likely was, since he was pouring a glass of wine in the clip. And at number 6, Kate Moss questioning. Last week while Heard was testifying, she was recalling an incident where Johnny allegedly got physical with her sister, Whitney. And during the testimony, she brought up model Kate Moss, to which Depp's team celebrated. Kate Moss and Depp used to date decades ago when they were both very young, and Heard alleged that Johnny also got physical with Moss while they were together, specifically claimed that he pushed Moss down a flight of stairs. In court, Heard said about her sister's altercation with Johnny in 2015, quote, "She threw herself in the line of fire. She was trying to get Johnny to stop. Her back was to the staircase and Johnny swings at her. I don't hesitate and wait. I instantly think of Kate Moss and stairs." Court footage then showed Depp's lawyers quietly celebrating after Heard mentions Kate Moss. We can assume that the court did not allow evidence or testimony from Moss to be allowed, but now that Heard has opened the door to the altercation, Moss might be asked to testify. Since Johnny clearly does not agree this altercation with Moss happened, Depp's team believes it will once again prove Amber's lies.
Number 5, witness calls Amber a liar. On April 13th, the second day after this defamation trial began, one witness to the couple's messy drama, Ike Barak, took to the stand. He's Johnny's friend of 42 years and was called to the stand to state whether he had seen any signs of Johnny doing any harm against Amber. He stated that he never saw Amber being physically hurt despite living next door to the couple. He came close to tears when he described what he called Amber's fraudulent accusations against Depp. He also made sure to state that he liked Amber and considered her to be a friend, but is extremely stressed by the situation in the court. He also stated that he was angry about, quote, "phony pictures taken and put in tabloids and the fake narratives and the way Heard got a fraudulent domestic claimed to extort and blackmail. There are many people affected by the malicious lie she's created. It's gone out the door and around the world, and I can't even paint anymore.
And at number 4, pathetic attempt to discredit Johnny. During one portion of the trial, Johnny Depp was on the stand and Amber Heard's lawyers could ask him whatever they wanted. At one point, the lawyer tried to make a point about Depp's damaged reputation, giving Depp a number of headlines to read, with them all painting a picture of Depp as out of control. The articles called him in crisis, claimed he was losing money, and also claimed his addiction to drinking was ruining his life. The lawyer read a number of these headlines until Depp himself pointed out that all of these sites are trashy gossip sites and they do not print the truth. Depp even called his line of questioning a quote, pathetic attempt. Near the end of the clip, we see Depp start to make fun of these articles, and the lawyers were trying to paint them as real evidence. And at number 3, Heard copying Depp's outfits. One strange thing that's been noticed during the trial is that Amber seems to copy Johnny's outfits in court. Dr. Shannon Curry took the witness stand and testified that she diagnosed Amber Heard with 2 personality disorders, one that could cause her to mimic her ex-husband Johnny Depp's wardrobe choices. Dr. Curry claimed that Amber's disorder may cause her to, quote, take on the identity of the people they are spending time with because it's comforting. This testimony came at an interesting time because fans have been pointing out that Heard seems to copy whatever Depp wears in court. If Johnny wears a gray suit on Tuesday, Amber will show up with a similar gray suit the next day, a clear pattern that has been shown through the trial. Some fans on Twitter wrote, quote, Amber Heard is playing mind games with Johnny Depp by copying his outfits in court. Another said, quote, when Johnny wore a gray suit, the next day she wore the same thing. Then he wore a Gucci ensemble and the next day she wore it. And at number 2, asked inappropriate questions. Of course it's a lawyer's job to get down to the truth, so it's not out of the question to assume some uncomfortable questions are asked. At one point, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were living in Australia while Depp was filming a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and Amber alleged that Depp tried to urinate in the foyer of her house. Depp's bodyguard Malcolm Connolly was on the stand, and during cross-examination, Heard's team asked him if he witnessed Depp urinating in the foyer of their residence at the time. Connolly confirmed he heard noises inside the home, and that when he entered, he saw Depp in the foyer. When pushed again to answer, the bodyguard said no, he did not see him try to urinate, prompting those in the courtroom to laugh, including Depp. The lawyer then continued, quote, Mr. Depp had his pee out, didn't he? Before being interrupted by an objection. The bodyguard denied it and claimed he would have remembered if he saw it. Depp then tried to contain his laughter. And finally, number 1, stupid objections. I talked before about how Heard's lawyers object to ridiculous things, but this is probably the most insane. So I assume that everyone knows that Johnny Depp's most well-known role is playing Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, but maybe Amber Heard's lawyers did not know that. During a line of questioning, Heard's lawyers were speaking to some sort of studio executive or talent manager, and they were speaking of the 6th movie in the franchise. Depp was set to play the lead role in that movie like he had for the 5 before it, but he was cut from the movie in the midst of the Amber Heard drama. When Depp's lawyers asked the witness what role Depp would play in the 6th movie, Heard's lawyers objected, citing hearsay. Are we surprised? The judge allowed the question, and the answer was none other than Captain Jack Sparrow. Again, are we surprised? Like, we know that's who he plays.
Number 10, Amber lying about having a broken nose. 2 days ago, during a recounting of one of the many fights that Amber and Johnny have found themselves in, Johnny Depp took the stand in Virginia to address the moment he realized that Amber Heard had, quote, flat out lied about breaking her nose during one of their fights. According to Fox, the actor began by explaining how Amber once attacked him in his home office and proceeded to accuse Depp of having broken her nose during the altercation. Immediately after it, Depp recalls Heard saying, quote, way to go Johnny, you broke my nose. However, the actor later admitted that he crept inside her bathroom. Quote, I pulled the Kleenex out of the trash bin. I inspected it pretty closely and realized it was nail polish, nail varnish. While this isn't a confirmed instance and is more so a personal recount, her lying about having a broken nose would be an extremely substantial situation of horrible and manipulative behavior. Number 9, Amber lying about being hit in an altercation. Another instance of a fight between the former celebrity couple where what Amber says directly contradicts what others who were present in the situation have said. In an instance where a verbal altercation occurred between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, Depp's bodyguard has finally come forward to offer insight into what really happened behind closed doors. The bodyguard, whose name is Malcolm Connolly, took the stand and alleged, quote, as time went on, I could see them change. I could see Amber change. I could see Johnny getting quieter. When he recounted some instances where he'd heard occasional arguments between the couple, he stated, quote, I could hear at times in certain accommodations when this thing happened. I could hear Amber screaming. I could hear shouting and bawling, and I could hear it going on. Mostly, I could hear Amber screaming. I'd never seen any slapping or grabbing or punching or hitting, but I did see scratches on Johnny's neck, maybe a fat lip in the corner, maybe a bruising on the eye socket. It was getting more regular. Not every week, but it was definitely happening, yeah. This directly contradicts Amber's narrative that she's never hurt or touched Johnny violently, and for others who aren't involved in your trial to go against your statement is a massive deal. Number 8. Amber faked bruises with video evidence showing it. As was exposed during the previous defamation trial of Johnny Depp against The Sun back in 2020, there were photos of Amber's alleged injuries. It shows Amber's cheek being battered and bruised, and she's got a swollen eye. Taken at face value, this is an awful instance of someone's face being physically harmed during an angry fight. But Amber has been accused of lying about the injuries and said she may not even have had any. There is security footage of Amber and her sister directly after when the fight was supposed to have occurred, and her face doesn't show any sign of visible harm. On top of that, the footage shows Amber and her sister laughing and throwing fake punches at one another. It seems more like a joke than anything else. If it is proven in the court that Amber did lie about being injured in the now infamous photos of her bruised up face, that will be a massive red flag where the judge may not be so lenient this time as he had been before.
And at number 7, Muffin Questioning. During the trial, one of Johnny Depp's witnesses was a psychologist named Dr. Shannon Curry. Dr. Curry's job was to come and testify about the mental state of both of the parties and to determine any psychological issues either party possessed. During her testimony, she stated that Amber had multiple psychological issues and made Amber seem like the abusive party. So to get back at the doctor, Heard's lawyers tried to discredit her. At one point, the lawyers kept asking about was some muffins that Dr. Curry brought to the meeting with Amber. Since Dr. Curry's husband got these muffins, Heard's lawyers wanted to see if Dr. Curry told her husband that a confidential celebrity client, aka Amber, was coming to see her that day. After a long line of useless questioning, Dr. Curry cleared everything up, saying that her husband bought the muffins but he did not know who they were for. The lawyer was stunned and had to take a few moments to come up with a new question.
Number 6. Johnny Depp was away when another domestic fight happened. According to CBC News, when Amber had initially filed for a restraining order against Johnny, she showed up to the courthouse with a bruise on her face. But the evidence seems to point to Amber giving herself the injury because of one small detail. Johnny's lawyer is claiming that she gave herself the injury to ruin Depp's reputation. He proved this by stating that Johnny and Amber hadn't even seen each other for at least 6 days before she was in the courthouse, and the bruises looked way too fresh for 6 days of healing. Johnny was on the European leg of a tour he was doing with his band, the Hollywood Vampires. This means that there's absolutely no way that he could have been the one to hit her.
Halfway number 5, met up after restraining order. After Amber Heard filed for divorce from Johnny Depp, she decided to also get a restraining order to protect herself from him, alleging that he was violent with her in the past. Depp testified in court that in 2016, after Heard filed for the restraining order, she asked to meet up with Depp and talk about things. Although he was confused, he wanted to hear what she had to say, with Depp saying, quote, "I was talked into going there and met with her in hopes that she would retract her lies that the world was now fed. In no way was she ready to do that, and I couldn't understand why I was there. Everything had been taken from me." Depp continued that he felt that she was leading him on and asked him there under false pretenses.
Number 4, a makeup brand may expose Amber for more lies. On the 23rd of April, a makeup brand shocked everyone by entering into the fighting ring with one crucial piece of evidence that seemed to continue to suggest that Amber had been lying about the whole thing. Amber's lawyer claimed that the actress had used a makeup product by Milani Cosmetics to cover up her bruises that Johnny had given her. The only problem with that claim is that Milani's all-in-one correcting kit was not launched until 2017, as representatives of the brand stated themselves in a TikTok video that has gone explosively viral. The alleged harm occurred between 2012 and 2016. The makeup product would not launch until a whole year after Depp and Heard were divorced. While Heard's attorney didn't specifically name Milani Cosmetics in court, she did hold up the makeup kit in question and said that Amber carried it around in her purse every day to hide bruises. It could be that the attorney was just using the product as an example of the type of makeup Amber would have used, but it's also possibly just another one of Amber's lies to try and make Johnny appear more evil.
And at number 3, Depp calls out lawyers for hearsay comments. If you've watched even a little bit of this trial, you know that Amber Heard's lawyers love objecting on the grounds of hearsay. According to Cornell Law School, hearsay is an out-of-court statement offered to prove the truth of whatever it asserts. These statements are inadmissible as trial evidence because there's no actual proof to back them up. Basically, during the entire trial, anything that a person did not say or hear directly is objected to, and it gets a bit annoying after a while. And social media has been mocking her lawyers for the constant objections. While one of her lawyers were telling Depp to read off articles, the lawyer read one title saying, quote, "A year and a month before Amber published the op-ed, headline, Johnny Depp allegedly showed up drunk to movie premiere, reports say." Depp then quickly responded, quote, "Reports say, this is hearsay, is it not? Your favorite word."
Number 2, Amber didn't donate the money to charity like she promised. If we rewind all the way back to the initial divorce proceedings, Amber had stated to the court that she planned to take the $7 million that she made from the divorce case and donate it to the Children's Hospital and a workers' rights group. But a few days ago, a representative of one of the charities testified that his organization only received $1.3 million from Amber, including a $500,000 fund that was tied to Elon Musk, which would not be money from Amber herself. Although $1.3 million is a lot, it is definitely not the $7 million that she had promised to pledge to the charity. Quote, "The entire case is really about Amber Heard's credibility. If Heard is going to lie about something easily verifiable, you have to ask yourself, what else is she lying about?" says a journalist covering the court case. Number 1, the phone call that proved Amber had hit Johnny Depp. Although this phone call is nothing new to the court, I'd say that it is one of the most damning pieces of evidence against Amber that catches her in a direct lie. It changed her defense from "I didn't hit Johnny" to "I caused less damage than Johnny." The phone recording is of Amber place-dating Johnny after an argument in which she defends herself. Quote, "I can't promise I won't get physical again. I get so mad I lose it." She continues to say, quote, "I was hitting you. I didn't know where the motion of my hand was, but you're fine. I didn't hurt you. I didn't punch you. I was hitting you."
First at number 10, lawyer objects own question. During the trial, the most memed people have been Amber Heard's lawyers, who seem incompetent most of the time. This point was basically confirmed in court the other day when one of Heard's lawyers objected to their own question. Attorney Adam Nadelhaft made a huge error while he was asking questions about a fight that left Johnny with a severed finger. While the lawyer was questioning Ben King, Depp's house manager, he said, quote, "You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand when you were there on March 8th, correct?" the lawyer asked. King then answered the question by stating a doctor told him that Depp sustained an injury to one of his fingers. Then, in an attempt to stop King from continuing his testimony, the lawyer objected, saying, quote, "Objection, hearsay?" For a moment, everyone was confused until the judge stated, quote, "Wait, you asked the question? Next question." Awkward. And at number 9, Depp found poop in their bed. One of the strangest and most baffling things about this case is the fact that someone pooped in Johnny and Amber's bed, and most signs point to Amber. Apparently, after he and Heard had a fight, Depp decided to leave for the night and come back in the morning when he assumed she was not going to be there. However, before he made it back, his maid texted him that there was poop found on his side of the bed, with the maid even including a picture. Johnny then texted Amber about this poop, and she tried to blame it on their dogs. Depp stated their dogs were way too small to produce something that large. Heard kept denying that she had anything to do with it, but Depp is convinced it either came from her or one of her friends. My money's on one of the friends. And at number 8, Johnny Depp painted with blood. A huge part of this case is the incident where Amber allegedly threw a bottle at Johnny and severed his finger. We also learned that after Johnny's finger was cut, he decided to paint using the bloody finger as the brush and paint. Depp alleged that during a fight in Australia in 2015, Heard threw 2 bottles at him, one of which exploded. He claimed it resulted in the tip of his middle finger being cut off. Depp also stated that after the finger was cut, he decided to write on the walls with his blood. Then after it dried, he continued to paint using traditional paint that he had dipped his finger in. Considering Depp did not immediately get treatment for his finger, it's a miracle that doctors were able to reattach most of it.
Number 7, the cops at the scene didn't notice a disturbance. In the previous defamation trial that Johnny held against the Sun for them labeling the actor as someone who harms his wife, there were tons of defendants who weren't allowed to take the stand because the trial focused on whether or not the Sun had falsely reported the claim. Although it had to do with Amber, it wasn't necessarily directly about Amber. Now that Johnny is suing her directly, we're hearing about the relationship from a lot of people who weren't allowed to take the stand before. One such case is the LAPD officer who responded to a call about a domestic disturbance at Amber and Johnny's home. While Amber claimed that she had been hit by Johnny, the LAPD officer tells a very different story. He says that he never saw any sign of disturbance, and that Amber looked completely fine, with no bruising or harm done to her face. He also said that Amber has been extremely unhelpful and refused to sign a police report or hand one in for filing. Later on, paparazzi had taken photos of Amber where she had bruises all over her face, so it just doesn't make sense. If the cop said that he didn't see any harm, why then a few hours later was her face all battered up in paparazzi pictures?
And at number 6, Depp trashed hotel rooms. Another shocking revelation from the court documents was that Depp had gotten so angry in the past that he had trashed hotel rooms. Heard's lawyers asked Depp, quote, "You've trashed hotel rooms before simply because you've had a bad couple days and an unpleasant time." Depp then replied, quote, "Correct, I have a couch or 2, yes sir." Depp also agreed that he had expressed himself through destructive measures in the past. Heard's lawyers also pressed him about an earlier quote where he claimed that when men are angry, some will play golf while others will smash hotel rooms, with him clearly being the type that does the latter. Depp replied that he was only joking at this time, and he doesn't believe he's the only person that's broken something while they were frustrated. Halfway number 5, Heard copying Depp's outfits. One strange thing that has been noticed during the trial is that Amber seems to copy Johnny's outfits in court. Dr. Shannon Curry took the witness stand and testified that she diagnosed Amber Heard with 2 personality disorders, one that could cause her to mimic her ex-husband Johnny Depp's wardrobe choices. Dr. Curry claimed that Amber's disorder may cause her to, quote, take on the identity of the people they are spending time with because it's comforting. This testimony came at an interesting time because fans have been pointing out that Heard seems to copy whatever Depp wears in court. One fan on Twitter wrote, quote, when Johnny wore a gray suit, the next day she wore the same thing. Then he wore a Gucci ensemble, and then she wore it the next day. If the public noticed this was a pattern, Heard's lawyers should have immediately stepped in and told her to stop wearing them. In at number 4, Paul Bettany texts. One of the times that Johnny looked the worst was when his texts between him and Paul Bettany were read to the court. These texts showed Depp letting off steam after a fight with Heard, but saying some pretty horrific things. Heard's lawyer showed texts between WandaVision actor Bettany, including one in which the two joked about ending Heard's life. During his deposition, Depp confirmed that he and Bettany are good friends. Texts from 2013 show the actors joking about how they would kill Heard, claiming that the pair would burn her, then including some nasty comments about making sure she was dead by sleeping with her corpse. Bettany's reps have not responded to the texts, but he has previously expressed that it was embarrassing to have his texts made public when they were used in the UK libel case Depp brought against the Sun, which he lost. Bettany clarified that he, quote, didn't know Johnny when he was married to Heard.
Number 3, a body language expert seems to peg Amber as using lying techniques. While the science of body language is far from concrete, one body language and behavioral expert is extremely suspicious of the way that Amber conducts herself during the trial. He explained that she frequently has shifty eyes when someone is talking to her. The most likely reason was, quote, condescending lack of interest. You are not important enough to hold my interest. He also states that Amber frequently had defensive body language, such as an aggressive way that she scratched her shoulder to where she nearly knocked off her microphone. Her lawyer's objection to some of the questioning found Heard looking down, indicating that she was thinking about what to say next.
In at number 2, Milani Cosmetics contradicts Amber. During her trial, Amber's lawyer stated that Amber would walk around with makeup constantly in case she ever needed to cover a bruise that Johnny had given her. In court, the lawyer held up Milani Cosmetics' all-in-one correcting kit while telling the jury how Heard concealed bruises on her face. Although it's important, the lawyer never claimed that Heard used that specific product. During her trial, her lawyer held up the makeup and said, quote, this is what Amber carried in her purse for the entire relationship with Johnny Depp. She's an actor. Do you honestly think she would have left her apartment ever without makeup? Do you think she would ever have wanted other people to see her bruises and cuts? This is what she used. She became very adept to it. Milani clapped back in a TikTok video showing that the product held up in court was not released until 2017, 1 year after Heard filed for divorce. So there is no way Heard could have been covering bruises with that makeup. A source close to Heard told People, quote, Heard's lawyer was using an example of the kind of makeup that she used. And finally, number 1, Lily Rose skipped Depp's wedding. During the trial, it was exposed that Depp's daughter, Lily Rose, did not approve of his relationship with Amber. It was so tense that Lily Rose decided not to attend their wedding in February of 2015. In court, Johnny said, quote, my daughter Lily Rose did not come to the wedding. She and Miss Heard were not on particularly great terms for several reasons. Johnny Depp also claimed in court that Amber tried to drive a wedge between him and his kids. Johnny has 2 kids that he shares with ex-partner Vanessa Paradis, Lily Rose, and Jack. When talking about how possessive Amber was, Depp said, quote, Amber had to have me there at all times for her own needs. Also alleging that she would, quote, tell me what a bad father I was and that I had no idea how to parent. After the allegations came out, Lily Rose publicly defended her father.